recording on Spotify, and we're going
Okay, I'm gonna go
live.
ahead and go live on here.
And we're going live on everything else.
Okay,
So
perfect.
Facebook and YouTube.
All right,
Looks like we're going live.
yes.
And hello, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. You want to tell everybody your name and everything?
Yes. So I'm Tionna. I am a model, and then I also kind of dabble in the arts as well.
Yeah.
I'm trying to just honestly figure myself out right now,
Yeah.
and but mostly modeling, and then just going in and out of like different creative things.
So you got a couple of modeling magazine
Yes,
spots coming up.
I just got published for 3 different magazines, and they're all online and published, so I could, print them out or send links to everybody because I have a few features in one. I have about 6 features in one magazine, and it's called Prestige Models. And
Okay.
basically, what that is, it's a company that's all over the world that helps models get their name out there. So there's a few models from Germany, a few models from the UK. And it's just kind of all over the world. So I got 6 features in that, 2 features in legendary models, and those they picked the top 25 of which one's the best. So I was super happy to get in that just because like I was like, oh my gosh, I got the last pick.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, this is something huge. And it really sparked my like something in me like this is so something so true to me. So I was so glad to get into all 3, and the last one was Dreamy, and I got one feature in that magazine is pretty hard to get into.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So where's it out of?
Dreamy, it's pretty much in the United States. Legendary
Uh,
is, different from different countries as well. So Prestige and Legendary are from all over, and then the Dreamy one is more of like United
so
States.
you just submitted your picture to them, and they chose them.
Yep, they
Oh,
chose
that's
me.
cool.
I was pretty shocked that I got 3 because it was my first time being in
Yeah.
a magazine. I'm like, I don't know if I'll get like all these like
Yeah.
features or anything. So when I got them, it just kept coming and coming and coming. And then I was just like, oh my gosh, this is something that like really just sparked my attention. It was just like, this is something that I can do. Like this is something I can commit to, and I loved it. So
Cool. That's awesome.
yeah.
So I need to tell everybody this podcast is sponsored by Royal Dark. If you guys want to offer y'all your gamer needs, get it on Facebook and join Royal Dark. And they stay open until 4 a.m. in the morning, and they give away thousands of prizes every week. So give them a shout out and join up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
You
love
you
Royal
play
Dark.
right?
Yeah, I was gonna say I love Royal Dark.
Yeah.
I I played for a really long time, and it really honestly helped me get up on my feet.
Yeah.
Honestly, like it made me like think very methodical of like my finances, and like you could still make extra money while making money like while doing side hustles or just
Oh
your
yeah.
job. So it really helped with like just
Yeah.
the side things
I
you want
tell
to
everybody
do.
you got to have 2 or 3 incomes,
Oh
or
my
you're not
gosh,
doing anything. Like
literally.
So I'm trying to build this podcast. We're not making much money right now, but hopefully at some point we will.
Oh, I know you definitely
And
will.
yeah, we've been doing it for like almost a year and a half now. So yeah,
That's awesome.
you've been doing your thing.
Yeah, I've been trying to get back into podcasting. I was in it a little bit, but then I kind of fell off because just a lot of things came upon me that wasn't me. So I had to
Uh-huh.
kind of shut off everything to realize what's really true to me or not. So I'm starting back up my podcast hopefully in January.
That's cool.
And yes,
Hopefully I can help you with that.
I'm super excited just
Yeah.
because like I feel like that's something true to me because there was a lot of fake things going on and I didn't really realize until
Yeah.
I shut everything off and I'm like, okay, like what's true to me? And
Yeah.
so that's
This
how I
thing
got
is a
started.
monster. It grows every day. I'm on, I try to be on Spotify a lot, and then
Hmm.
you go on Facebook. I get a lot of views on Facebook, and then YouTube. I'm trying to build the YouTube and the Twitch.
Yep,
It's like you got to learn every one of these
you
things. And
really
then you
do.
were talking to me about Instagram, and then we were talking about TikTok, and it's like there's
Yes.
so many,
So
and it's
many.
like you got to almost be an expert at every one of them
Yep.
to get out there.
Yep.
And
And
we do
hits practice.
yeah, we do the wrestling podcast, which everybody loves that, but I want to get into other different things too.
Yes,
So
like it'd be really good. You have a lot of you have a lot of creativity. I know just speaking with you a lot and just sharing that with everybody else. Like just opening up to like different things other than wrestling
Yeah.
is so good just
Yeah.
because it expands
Well,
everything.
everybody, everybody has more than one interest. So,
Definitely.
like all the wrestling fans, they like, they like things too. They're all,
Mhm.
and we went to a show up in Chicago. Like we went to an actual show of the AEW
Oh,
All Out,
cool.
and wrestling fans are just so like,
I've never been to a wrestling match
yeah, they
before.
love each other. Like everybody's so cool with each other, and
Really?
like wrestling fans love each other. It's like wrestling fans love wrestling fans. So that's why our show kind of does good because like there's wrestling fans watching some wrestling fans
Right.
watch wrestling. It's like so
Right.
it's like
Everybody just kind of
yeah, and even
together.
even the people that don't watch wrestling very
Mhm.
much, I can bring them in here and we can sit here and watch it and we have fun like just clowning each
Oh,
other and
yes.
so
I've seen it on TV, but I've never actually been to a match. And when I watch it on TV, I'm thinking that people are just like booing everybody, but
yeah.
I didn't know it came from like a place of like
Well,
everyone just like
they boo, but like it's a boo of like
just depending on your
it's not a
team.
hate boo,
Right,
It's like
right,
it's
right,
like you're booing for the bad guy and
right.
you're cheering for the good guy. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna, you go to
Gonna
some of
kill
these,
that.
yeah, you some of these football games and these guys get serious and they fight in the
Yeah.
audience and
See,
stuff.
that's what I'm thinking about with
Yeah.
wrestling,
No,
but
it's
it's
not
not.
because with wrestling that people are like it's fake. It's not fake. I mean,
Okay.
the show is predetermined. They
Right,
know who's going to win.
right.
It's more like they're out there choreographing these moves together and
Right.
making it look like they're fighting with each other.
Okay.
And but like it's a show. It's almost like a male soap opera kind of.
Okay. Okay, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. So it's like guys watch it and they root for their own guy because
Mhm.
we all know it's predetermined.
Yeah,
So
and
it's
it's
like
entertaining.
yeah, it's entertaining.
So,
So it's like we don't get mad because it's like that's the whole
that's the
part
whole
about
part
watching
of
is
it.
like we know that the people producing the show
Mhm.
knows what's going to happen, but we don't know.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. So it's just that thrill of just the unknown in a way.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
totally understand.
so you brought a bunch of sticky notes here. What's all that?
Oh, my sticky notes. I just wanted to make sure I was good to go. It was just kind of my life story, actually. Basically, after
You
just
see, I have no notes. I freestyle everything.
I know
Yeah,
that's literally me. Like I usually like to freestyle everything, but I realized like the things that I love
yeah,
that I want to take seriously. Like, I want to make sure that like I pour out everything that I
yeah,
wanted to pour out because I get distracted so easily.
yeah.
So if I freestyle, then I'll go
Go
off.
off one thing to the other, the
Yes,
other, the other. Yeah,
yes, and
yeah.
I'm getting like with the spirituality. We've talked about that
Oh yeah,
before,
yeah,
and just with that, it's really made me notice my patterns. And the more that I know, the more that I take practice into what I need to do to better, you know,
so we
whatever I need
talked
to do.
me and you talked and we actually had lunch together
Hmm.
and you had just pretty much started your path,
Yeah.
so like
It
how's it going
was,
now?
oh my gosh, it is like, not gonna lie, dark night of the soul right now.
Oh really?
Yeah, but it's so good to understand that where I'm at so I can find those opportunities, like, where those opportunities are like, okay, instead of saying, like, why is the universe doing this to me?
Yeah,
I'm saying, what can I learn from this?
yeah,
Or
how can I change it?
yeah, what is this trying to teach me? Like, what is the universe trying to send me?
Yeah,
Because I've realized through the spirituality or the spiritual journey, basically, it's that like we're all in like this earth school and we're all just learning through this, just schooling, like what to do next on
yeah,
whatever path we're going on. And like me realizing everything that I did, prior to who I am now has kind of helped me with everything that I'm dealing with now.
yeah, yeah,
And so just going through the dark night of the soul, it really, really goes deep and inward. You kind of have to be like the hermit almost, like just like by yourself
uh-huh.
and just have that really like self-care, self-love, because there are going to be some things that you need to shed, but when you shed them, you have to let them come up first and go through it and then shed it.
I think a lot of us don't take time to do that
Not at all.
for yourself. You gotta work on yourself a lot,
Yeah.
and like it's you get so busy with like work, because I have like 2 or 3 jobs and I have the podcast and
Hmm.
then I'm
So many
married,
distractions.
kids, so many distractions that you don't take care of your own self, and then
Hmm.
you look up one day and you're like depressed,
Yeah.
you got anxiety, and you're like, I just didn't take care of myself.
Yeah, and that's what October really taught me, that I wasn't taking care of myself in November. Now that I've admitted that, I have so many other deep levels that I didn't even know about myself. So just like, and I didn't realize how much I was distracted on the outside world. Like, you know how you were saying, just thinking about things externally,
Yeah,
and then when you're getting to yourself, it's like, whoa, like I didn't even know I was at this place, because I was like, or I like was in a depressed, state. And I was like, what is going on? And it was because I wasn't taking care of myself, and I was putting everything else first
yeah.
instead of
I
myself.
I put all kinds of things first. Like last night, I went home and I left one of these little iPods.
Hmm.
I lost one,
Oh,
and it drove me crazy thinking about it all night. And I'm like, just leave that alone. If you
yeah.
find it, you'll find it. If you don't,
Exactly.
then the world's not going to end. But like I was
Exactly.
worried and worried and worried, and that you can get stuck on one thing
Mhm.
and you can't move on past that. You
And I
got to
think
be able to like let things go.
yes, and I think that's what I'm trying to learn, is to really let things go, because first, it's not a life or death situation.
No,
It's like it's never a life or death situation. I think people, especially myself, where we get so caught up on just this one thing or this one person, that we end up losing ourselves because we're trying to like find or do whatever we think that is right,
yeah, yeah,
so just having the ability to like actually let go, well, like first admit it first off,
yeah.
because admitting is like, okay, this is where I am, and this is what I need to let go, and this is what I need to do next.
And a lot of people take that and they're not happy with themselves, so they
Hmm.
start blaming another
Other
person,
people. Hmm.
significant other. You're
Yep.
not doing this for me. You're not doing that for me,
Hmm.
and you're doing this and you're doing that. So what they're doing?
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter what they're doing.
Exactly.
You got to really just live your life and
And take
figure out what you're doing.
responsibility of
Yeah,
like what, when people have that, like, just because I had that victim mindset,
yeah,
and it was just like, at the end of the day, I had to take full responsibility of what my part was, even if you know something happened with someone else and they're blaming me for it. I have to be like, okay, like take a step back. Like, what was my responsibility in this part? And let them know that you can't control other people, but you can control yourself. Like,
yeah, yeah.
And so once you like change your mindset, and instead of saying that, like, I'm blaming this person for this, take full responsibility of the whole situation and see what you were doing and what you have to do for yourself, you
Exactly.
know,
And
in order to grow, because like a lot of people are such victims, and like they get stuck because they're
yeah,
victims.
they blame everything on other people.
Mhm.
I'm not success because of this person did
Yeah,
this and this person did. No, you're not a success because you didn't take the steps.
exactly.
Because there's all these, just like I hate to be cliche, but Nike says just do it.
Yeah.
Well, you got to do it. Like,
Yes.
I wanted to start a podcast. My
You
son was like, I want to be a comedian. And I was like, well, let's start a podcast. That way you can get your
right.
voice out there. You can start talking to the public. And at
Exactly.
some point he's going to start being a comedian. I also want to push him towards that. And because that's what you said. We just have to do it. You
Exactly.
know?
And we all have a
Yeah.
choice. We all have a choice. Like, and
Yeah.
that's why I try to take, that's what I'm really learning about, full responsibility and taking in like whatever part I was in, like, it was my choice to either react, respond, to do or to not to do, and just go by that. Because once you're really true with yourself and not be in that victim mindset, your mind is more freeing, it feels like. Because yeah, you make mistakes, yeah,
Yeah.
you achieve things, but you did it because of you.
Less stress. Less
Yes.
stress. And stress
Yes.
isn't horrible on you. Like,
Mhm.
I'm a victim of stress myself. I stress myself way too much, and
Mhm.
and I'm trying to figure that out. But all the other stuff that I do in life clouds that. So it's like trying to make money, trying to pay the bills, trying to,
Mhm.
and then you like, you get to a point where you like, I need to go and just like be by myself.
Yeah.
This summer I went to Fort Lauderdale by myself for 4 days.
Oh, that's
Like,
awesome.
everybody was, like, planning this trip together, and they were like, and then everybody just bailed out, and I was like,
Mhm.
"I don't know if I'm gonna bail out or not," and then I was like, comes down to it, the trip is coming, and I had the tickets, and I was like, I just went
Just
by
gonna go.
myself,
Yeah, you just
and I
have to
spent
do it.
4 days by myself,
Yeah.
and I think I'm gonna do that every summer.
Oh my
I'm gonna
gosh.
go take a 4-day trip by myself and, just
That's so funny that you said that, because when I started this whole spiritual journey, I told myself that I was going to take, at least 2 or 3 days by myself each month because we just need that solitude
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
sometimes to just reevaluate, rethink
It's
of what we're
meditating.
doing.
You got to meditate.
Exactly. And I haven't done it yet, but I realized I've only done it twice when I started
It's hard to
just a
do.
few. Yeah. And you get so distracted by just
Yeah.
everything, but um when I did do it, I realized how much better I felt.
Yeah.
I felt like I filled my cup because you have to like be on your own to fill your cup first because you can't go out and be
Yeah.
helping everybody if your cup isn't
And then
filled.
how are you going to learn? Like me with this podcast, how am I going to learn if I'm so busy all the time? How am I going to learn anything to be able to talk about anything? It's
Exactly.
like, so I'll take time to myself and I'll read some stuff and I'll
Mhm.
try to, listen to some stuff and, um, you just have to learn. And I've
You
been,
really do.
I've been lately trying to take like walks by myself and,
Yeah.
be outside,
A lot
be,
of people are really scared to be by themselves,
yeah,
and I even kind of noticed my codependent tendencies because
yeah.
of like what happened in my childhood. I just developed that codependent like
It's hard to be by yourself
oh my
sometimes.
gosh. And it's so like scary because like you have this invisible fear,
Yeah.
this just there and
Yeah.
it's just like why like it's kind of like why are we so scared to be by ourselves? And I think it's just because we have so much stimulation going on around us that when we lose that, we are sitting with our thoughts and we don't want
Yeah.
to sit with our thoughts.
Even when you're by yourself and you have your phone, you're not by
You're
yourself.
not by yourself.
No,
Exactly.
you're with more people, I think.
Yeah, you're connecting with just different
Yeah.
energies, different levels, everything,
Yeah.
and it's a huge, huge
And then when you're
distraction.
trying to spend time with, like, say you're trying to spend a lot of time with your significant other
Mhm.
and you're sitting there on your phone and then they were like, then you're like, you never spend time with me. You're like, I spent the whole couple 2 hours with you. And you're like, you was on your phone talking to
Right,
somebody else
right.
or talking to 1,000 other people.
Yeah,
We didn't spend time together,
exactly. You weren't
No,
there,
you just wasn't there. Yeah. So people
Exactly.
get confused with that too. It's just
Mhm.
like just because you're physically there doesn't mean you're like interacting with each other.
Exactly. You're not focused, like, on that, and being
Yeah.
in the present, you're somewhere else in the
That's
present.
why I like doing this interviews because you get one on one
Yeah.
and you get to talk and you get to sit and actually talk to
And
somebody,
express.
express, and the phone's laying over there, and
Yeah, literally. No,
everybody out there has got their phones watching us, but
exactly. Yeah, but I feel like it's just like, it's good and bad because one, it's good because you have the control, so
yeah,
you can control anything that you want, but the bad is that you can overdo it
yeah.
or you're just not in the world at
Well,
all.
I don't know if you're overdoing it. You just have to take time for yourself.
Mhm.
Like you have to take time for yourself,
Yeah.
like in people are like, oh, you went and did something by yourself. Like you was really by yourself. Yeah, I was really by myself. I was taking care of myself.
Yeah, some people are just like when you're by yourself, they'll be like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "There's nothing wrong. I
Yeah.
just I just want to be like cuz I don't want to be scared of my thoughts and I want to get to know myself by myself because when I'm by myself, that's when everything starts like, "Okay, this is a good idea. Oh, this is where's this stemming from? Why do I think of this
Yeah.
thought?" It's really about analyzing and you get it down to what you need to and what you need to overcome or what you think of, and just with being alone,
There's people out there that need people to tell them what to do. Like they can't make their own
and
decisions.
that's
That's because they are a lack of being by themselves.
yeah, yeah,
Because you have that other person be like to run things across.
mhm,
And it's like, no, you really need to learn how to make your own decisions in life
exactly.
because that
Because
other
you
person
have
might
to
not be
listen to
there. And what's going to
exactly,
happen if like that person something happens to that other person, then you're
and
screwed because you just depended
exactly.
on that other person so much.
Yep, codependency is it's very much a it's not a negative thing, but it's something that you have to overcome or you'll lose your mind because of it because
Yeah,
you're always depending on somebody else and you always kind of have that victim mindset
yeah.
because you're depending on that person if
Then you get to a point where what are they doing? What are they doing? Are they with
mhm
somebody else? What are they? Are they talking to somebody else? Are they doing somebody else? And like
mhm
you're like, what does it matter?
yeah,
It doesn't matter,
I think just
as long
codependency,
as like you're with me when you're with me, then that's cool.
yeah,
Then that's the relationships are crazy anyway. So
yeah, definitely, yeah, I think it's just like something that everyone just has to overcome when it comes to like being dependent on someone and just really being alone, because that's something that a lot of people that they can't do that. Even
Yeah.
with their, like as you said, like when they're on their phone, they're not alone. They're still
No, they're not alone.
stimulating something, you know.
So put your phone in your pocket
Yeah,
and take you a walk,
exactly.
or
Do something with that's
yeah,
natural.
go read a book, or like,
Mhm.
yeah, be outside. Like try
Mhm.
to be outside a little bit, because I've been trying to be outside, and like, go for a walk at the Arboretum, or Legacy Trail. There's so many
Mhm.
nice places to walk in Lexington.
Yeah.
Like
It's so
there's
beautiful, like
12 miles of Legacy Trail to go and walk. Like there's
mhm.
12 miles of it. And then you got the Arboretum, which is like, I don't know how many miles that is, but you can get out there and just kind of just be
And
out and
just kind of just focus on your well-being. Like, I feel like if
yeah,
people didn't,
feel the breeze on your skin and
yeah, like, if people didn't just come from a place of just, like, the world, like, hates me, I have to depend on this person, I have to do this, I have to do that, this is how it's supposed to be. If people came from, or if people are coming from that to like, let me go on a walk, or let me go on, let me do this thing for myself, let me take this time for myself, like just be by myself and everything like that. Life will be feel more beautiful because you're figuring everything out on your own. And when you need help, that's totally fine. And then like you
right.
just come back again. Like, cuz we're all here to connect. We're not all here to depend on each other. That's
Yes.
two different
Yeah.
things. And like when you have that real connection, it's even more beautiful because you didn't need it. It's just something that you kind of like, oh, let me just do this and then appreciate it rather than being like kind of like a negative aspect, like why did, victim blaming and stuff
Yeah,
like
and
that.
you gotta let people be themselves, because
Mhm.
and their kids, and your kids, it's like, once they get to a certain age, you gotta let them make their own decisions and make their own mistakes, and,
Yep.
be their own person, because,
Yep.
like, you can't, like, live their life for them. And then,
Exactly.
yeah, if you're making their decisions for them, then they're gonna always look to you to make your decisions and their decisions
See,
for them.
yeah, like
Yeah.
that was one thing I'm still overcoming.
I
Um
know you was real close with your mom when you was growing up.
Yeah, my childhood was very like external matters. Like it was never internal. Didn't really go by your feelings, anything like that. So when I got into adulthood, I was so lost
Yeah.
because I was like, what do I feel? I don't even know what I feel because I've been on somebody else's bandwagon for so long.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that. Like, and that's how a lot of our patterns and um a lot of our things that we do, like our reactions, are is coming and stemming from childhood. Like, and that's what the thing that I'm working on right now because I'm figuring out how to be myself because I wasn't myself when I was younger. I
Yeah.
was just somebody else
Somebody just telling you what to do all the
yeah,
time.
just to survive
Yeah.
because when you grow up and all the way up to your 7, you're already programmed to a certain thing, certain
Yeah.
beliefs, certain tradition, anything, everything. But then once you kind of step out into the world and you go to different schools, do different events, all this stuff, you're attracted by what And then
Yeah.
once you go into adulthood, you don't have that survival mode anymore. But where you've learned that so long, then it's just like, hold on, wait, like, am I like that's why people feel so lost
Yeah.
because, they're more freeing. They're not really controlled by their parents
Yeah.
anymore. So when they start reacting to different things and attracting different things, it's a mirror. Like it's a mirror of who you are. And the universe is trying to, give you hints like, hey, like this is something that we need to fix because you didn't have that ability to fix it when you were a child, but you do have the ability to create it now. And that's what I have to learn, like really just being myself, like, because a lot of people don't know how to do that. And that's why they feel so lost because, their childhood was so different from
So
who,
controlled.
yeah,
Yeah.
from what they're trying to be now.
Yeah. That's
And
why when
so,
I was growing up, my dad just he just like threw jewels at me. He didn't like tell me what to do,
hmm
control me. He's like, you got to go to school, you got to do this and do that. But
hmm
here's this little information. Here's this little information. Here's this little and take it. Not telling you what to do, just take it and see if that's what you want, and see
right.
if that's what you want. My dad never tried to control anything that I try to do,
hmm
and I try to do that with my kids. I'm like, I'm
right.
trying to control, and then
Because it really shows in adulthood. Like it
yeah,
really shows in adulthood everything that you attract, everything that you do, everything that you say. it's coming from an autopilot place. It's not coming from a place of love, like
Yeah.
from yourself, you
Yeah.
know?
So when my son, he turned 18 and he graduated high school, and we had a rough time with that.
Mhm.
But he graduated high school, and then after that, he was like, my relationship with him changed. I was
Mhm.
like, you're an adult, you're having a kid, you got your own house, you got a job, and I throw like knowledge at him instead of
Mhm.
like telling him what to do.
What
And
to
he's
do.
yeah, and he's like, oh, he's like, when I was growing up, when I was a teenager, I thought you was an asshole, because you just yelled at me and hollered at me. But
Yeah.
then as soon as I turned 18 and I graduated high school, you turned into somebody different. I was like, well, I was your parent then, and I
Mhm.
had to like discipline you and say that now. But like
Mhm.
you're an adult now.
Right, and you're
You're
creating your own
and I
story.
want to be like there, and I'm not going to be like, oh, I don't want to go see Pops because he's telling me what to do all the time.
Right.
I'm like, I'm going to throw these jewels at you. Here's a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of knowledge, and y'all know where I'm at. If you
Mhm.
need the knowledge, I'm not going to interfere in your life. I'm not going
Mhm.
to tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you how to raise your kid.
Right. No,
But
I completely
if
understand, and I
you like, you want my knowledge, I'm going to come and come to me, and I'll tell you what I know.
right, yes. I think it's so important for for adults to notice and understand that even though, what happened in childhood, everybody's trying their best of at their ability. Everybody's trying their best, attempting whatever they're doing, like, in the past, like that was their best.
Yeah.
And you can't really let that stop you from like what's now, because you can always change what's
Yeah, because
now.
when you were doing something as a child, you was still learning, so you're making mistakes. So a
Hmm.
lot of adults are hung up on what they did.
Exactly.
They screwed up when they was a child. They did
Hmm.
this and that, and they have you know, and then a
And
lot of
they're just
people,
trying to figure it out like
yeah,
everyone else.
yeah, and you're learning, and a lot of people like screw up as adults,
Hmm.
and they can't get over that hurdle of like,
Yeah.
I had a really good job and I got fired from it. And now it's 10 years later. And I haven't got over that, and I haven't done anything since.
Yeah.
That I know people like that,
Yeah.
like that they haven't done anything. And I always try to move on from one thing to another and
Hmm.
try to add on. And, you know, um,
Yeah. Moving on is
there was one
definitely.
point in my life I was doing like 4 or 5 jobs, and it was like I was staying so busy, and I was trying to be a dad and a
Hmm.
husband and all that too. And you trying to juggle it. It's like you have to like get all these experiences so you can learn life and teach
Yeah.
other people.
No, I completely understand that. I definitely agree that, like, a lot of like adults, like, get, different experiences and everything. And then, like, also trying to take care of their kids. It's a lot, like,
It's a whole lot.
yeah. So, like, just every, like, adults just trying to figure it out. That's why, like, I just try to kind of forgive myself and then also forgive my parents, because they were just trying their best because,
Yeah,
they had a lot of stuff going on. And my mom had me when she was 17.
yeah.
So I know she was trying the best as she could.
She's a
And
very spiritual person too, right?
yeah, she's a Christian, and she did have a church. She's more online now since COVID and everything
Yeah.
happened. And so but yeah, I just, I really try to just take everything that I think that's true, and then whatever is not true, I just leave it behind. And then
Exactly.
I just try to understand, because like you can't really change the past. And
Yeah.
if you dwell on the past, it's literally going to eat you up.
I try
Like,
to take a little jewels from every like Christianity,
me
Buddhism,
too.
Taoism,
That's how my spirituality started.
Confucianism. I just kind of like start like,
Just taking it all a little
yeah, like
bit,
somebody will
yeah.
throw something at me and I'll go read this part, and then I'm like, oh, cool. And then then I read something else, and like, and then I'll be like, what did the Islam guys say?
Mhm.
What did the Jews say? What
It's so interesting
yeah,
to know and to
everybody.
understand.
Yeah, a lot of the stories are like very similar.
Mhm, they are similar, and I think a lot of people don't know that because some people are, just really into their religion,
Yeah,
and they don't wanna look outside of anybody else's, but when you're, like, more spiritual, you get that freedom to open up to different things and
yeah.
different just.
I was always like that as a kid. I was like, I would have friends that just listen to rap music
Mhm,
or just listen to heavy metal music or just I listen to everything, I'm
same,
jazz
same,
from this to that. So that's kind of
yeah,
like where I'm at. It was like when spirituality came and religion came, I was like, there's different religions. Okay.
mhm.
So let me read a little bit of this. Let me read a little bit of that. And I'll
Yeah,
put all my stuff together.
you realize that a lot of it is so similar. Like all of it is leading to finding a higher power. All of it's leading to different stories on, how they find the higher power, what
Yeah.
did they do, what the principles were. They're all kind of just
The same.
intertwined and
Yeah.
connected.
They're all they got the same point.
Totally agree. Like it's all intertwined. Like I think that the more people try to understand each other instead of throwing their beliefs at them and
Oh
just
yeah. Yeah.
reacting, the world could be so much more loving.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like, like, okay, the Bible said this. Okay, that's cool. But like then they're like, oh, if you read the Quran or anything else,
Mhm.
then you're bad. It's like, no, you can read that
You
and
read
read this
anything
and
you
read that,
want.
read anything you
Yeah.
want. Like you can be whatever you want to
We
be.
all have free
You can
will.
be Christian and Jewish and Muslim all in one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and Buddhism.
I think a lot of people stem from supposed to be and just expectations in general
Yeah,
that they kind of forget that like other people have other like their own beliefs and like they stem from something else. And I think if people just come from a place of understanding rather than expectations, then it'd be so much easier. Like life would feel so much easier to let go of like just expectations, because that's what really like eats everyone up, because they have to feel like if they allow somebody to tell them about something else that's different from their belief,
yeah,
it's like so bad. Or it's like, oh, I'm not gonna let, this person tell me what I believe in and blah blah blah. But that person's not telling you what you
yeah.
need to
And then it's like
believe.
if you go down this one path, say you were going Christian, and they're like Christian, like say for instance, say, oh, Christians wear red shoes, and then someday you're wearing red shoes all the time, and then you figure out that, oh, the guy down the street's wearing blue shoes,
Hmm.
and you're like, what the hell? I wanted some blue shoes.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah. And it's
and then
just
you're like, you're pissed off at the person that was teaching you that there was only red shoes,
hmm
and when you really wanted to wear the blue shoes too, and then
yeah.
you find out there's yellow shoes and then there's orange shoes, and then
Yeah.
you're like,
Like,
I want to wear all these shoes, and then you're like, I'm pissed off at that person because
and you
you
have
didn't
that.
share the whole world with me. You only shared one path.
Yeah, and then you have that resentment. Then you're
Yeah,
like,
resentment
yeah,
and
you're like, should I get the blue shoes or
yeah,
should I try the yellow shoes? Like you're so
yeah.
stuck upon like, or you're so stuck upon like
And
the
when we've talked
choices.
before, I thought that you've had some of that resentment.
Oh, definitely. Like when I started my spiritual journey last November to just get familiar with everything that I didn't know. I was so like shook with like everyone that
Blown away with stuff that you didn't know.
never knew.
Yeah,
Never knew. And it's so crazy because I wasn't really listening to myself, but I was listening to myself but not fully, but I was glad that the little hints that my intuition was giving me, it was something that opened me my eyes up just so much, like to so much expansion and just so much growth, because like it really like, I did come from a Christian family, and there's nothing wrong to be Christian, but there's also nothing wrong to, step out of the box and
yeah.
step out of something new. Like step on, like not wear the red shoes anymore. Go on to
There's
the blue
there's other
shoes.
philosophies in life
Yeah, and
other
I,
than that.
I got the whole rainbow now.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
and
And you
it's
get to choose. Like, yeah, there's so
exactly,
much knowledge out there in the world, like that. Why just take one path? Like, there's all
exactly.
kinds
It's
of forks in a
always,
path.
and change is like inevitable. So why resist it?
Yeah,
If something's telling you to go look something up or do this, why not? Like,
yeah.
who's gonna stop you? Like, and it's just like it's like people stop because they have that like they have their mind, and the mind is very powerful, and they have their ego, that's
Oh, the
what they
ego is
know.
crazy.
Yeah. And so like when you are just like, well, I have these red shoes, they've been kind of good to me for a while, it's all I've been knowing.
Yeah. But
But
them blue shoes look comfortable.
yeah, like, and it's just like what should I do? And it's just you're kind of like in the middle, because you only know what you know, and then you want to learn more, but what you know is what's right,
Yeah.
quote unquote.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what should I do? And that's where the resentment comes in. And like when once you resist, so many more problems come in the way, so many more circumstances that was unnecessary comes because you resent, like you had that resentment
Yeah.
towards what your soul
And
was trying to tell
your
you.
focus your focus was clouded because you had resentment
Mm-hmm.
and you wanted revenge. Then you wanted revenge
Mm-hmm.
because it's like and it's just like it leads to a path of darkness,
Mhm.
and you don't want to go down the path of darkness.
Yeah, I like it
It's
is
so
so.
easy to get down that path.
It really is. And like if you're going cuz there's nothing I definitely believe there is no there's not any good or bad. I think it's just all natural,
Yeah,
everything.
perception.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that if people go in a dark place, that is okay. You went there for a reason,
Yeah,
but the problem comes when you can't get out of it, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
So really embrace the darkness, but once you are, embracing it, admitting it, and knowing what to do next to get out of that darkness, get out of the darkness. You know what I'm saying? Because
yeah,
there's always going to be dark and light. We're always going to like have contrast in the situation. It's
yeah,
just about overcoming it in a way. And I think being more open helps because if you're stuck in one way and there's these certain beliefs that you have to believe in,
hmm
or that you think you believe in, or you know that you believe in,
they become rules.
they become rules.
Yeah,
They do. And it's so hard to break out of that because, more problems will come with that because you're just you're not trying to overcome it like in any kind of way. You're only like in a certain box. And
yeah,
like being in that box, it's hard to get out of,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. Because then you try to get out of that box, and then you go back to your old ways, and then
Mhm.
you're like, you look up, and you're like, I'm doing the same shit I was doing
Yeah, you get out of
that
the
I don't
box and then you
like.
walk back to the box and you're like,
Yeah,
"Man, I'm
like
here
I
again."
don't like acting that way. I
Mhm.
don't being that certain person,
Mhm.
like in trying to manipulate somebody to do something for you,
Mhm.
or do something with you or something, and
Just
then
because
you're
they
like,
believe it.
yeah, and then you're like, I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, and that's how I felt with just being in one religion. I didn't wanna do it. I felt like it was too boxed in for me. Like, a lot of stuff didn't make sense. I
Yeah,
didn't get any of my answers,
yeah,
or questions answered in the religion that I was in. You couldn't ask why,
yeah,
in which I think why is the most powerful question you can ask about anything.
yeah. Why
It
can't you ask why about everything?
Yes, and it's so crazy because I don't know if it was just me or the Black community itself, but when I used to ask my parents why this happened or why that happened, you couldn't question it. It wasn't allowed.
Yeah,
And it was just like, why?
yeah, yeah.
Like,
Why can I not ask why?
yeah, like,
Yeah,
and it's just like because when you ask why, it's a place of understanding. It's a place
yeah.
of coming from, I don't understand this, so how can I understand it better?
And then you
You
get to
know?
thinking, well, if I can't ask why, then why can't I ask why? This must be
Yeah.
bullshit,
Yeah, and you
because
just
if
kind
there's
of
not a reason, yeah,
why, and it's just like growing up, I didn't realize how important that question is because
because if you stop asking why, then the person teaching, if
they're just
if you're not
dictating at
allowed to
that
ask
point.
why, then they don't know why, and they can't teach it. They
Hmm.
can't teach the why. So then it eventually gets lost.
Yeah, and
Like so many
it's just like a
generations.
ripple effect.
Yeah.
It's just like more of like, you're just doing it because I said so
Yeah.
rather than you're doing it because this is the purpose of doing
I
it.
think all the like the books of the Bible and the books of the Quran and all the other religious, I
Hmm.
think they're there for you to interpret it
Hmm.
the way you need to interpret it
Definitely.
for what you're going through that
Definitely.
day.
I think that it's like really good and that's why it's so good to listen to yourself because when you read those types of books, it's coming from you and
Yeah.
your point of view. It's not coming from um someone telling you what this is. Like, yeah, you can tell what it is, but you have to interpret that in your own words because that's what's going to work for your system. And I think that's why some people just, stick with like what religions they are. Because if it works out for them, it does work out for them.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
totally agree with
Yeah.
that. But if it's not working out with you and you're making yourself sacrifice because somebody else believes it,
Exactly.
that's when it's something to be like, okay, what's going to help me out here? Because that's how I felt with spirituality,
Yeah.
and not everybody's going to feel like that with being a Christian. A lot of Christians love their religion.
Yeah. They might just take it and go with it.
Yeah, and it's all about your intention.
But
It's
there's
all about your
people like us
intentions.
that are outside the box to be like, um,
And
there's other boxes.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And that's like I think that's just such like the thing that we come into like when we come into life when we reincarnate. it's like we kind of forget that, like, everybody else has their own thing, you know what I'm saying? And like we have to really hone in and just really think about what's good for us, because what's good for us is going to lead us to our own abundance. What's good for us is going to lead us to what we wanted to know. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
if that person's Christian and that or that person's Muslim, let them be on their own journey,
Yeah,
and if it
because that's
doesn't
what they're supposed to be on now.
exactly, and if it doesn't work out for them, let's hope and pray that they get out of something so they they can learn what they need to learn or
Yeah,
find the answers that they need to. They don't have to be stuck in one religion just because someone else said so, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
And I think that's the beauty of it, because like we have free will, we have our choices, and we have just different intentions. And I think the more that we think about our intentions, the more that we can get more clear of what we want and what we need for ourselves.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I
So we're all individuals.
definitely I love spirituality. Like I don't care what anyone
Yeah.
says. Like,
I watch your little, stories all the time on Facebook. I don't think I have you on Instagram, but,
oh
I guess,
yeah, we
I
have
don't
to
get on Instagram very much. I
yeah.
probably do have you on Instagram. I just don't get on there
I
very
was gonna
much.
say
I'm
we have to
so
link up
busy with
after this.
Facebook and YouTube and stuff, but I listen every time I see you on there talking about something, I listen to it because it's
Oh, I
like, oh, it's just
appreciate it.
it's a cool, like, thing to watch you develop into, you know, what
Just
you're gonna
because I
develop into. Like,
yeah,
it's like, oh, she's got a little journey on there, and I'm a fan of that journey. I want to watch
yeah,
what she's
I
doing.
appreciate that so much, because a lot of people that I'm around, like, just like family wise, they don't understand. They
Yeah,
support it, but they don't understand. So having people that can
yeah,
understand it and support as well
yeah,
is so helpful for me. Like, especially when I go through hard times, because I feel like I'm going through this alone. Like,
yeah.
I am going through it alone, but I
Well,
have
I'm sure
people
I'm
that
not the only
help
fan you have.
me. Yeah, I mean, I got a little small fans, like,
Yeah, yeah,
so and hopefully I can just, expand, because my I feel like a lot of my journey resonates with a lot of other people's journeys, especially the like younger ones. Like
yeah,
they are
yeah,
so lost,
yeah.
and I'm in the
With
same
this
boat.
information, highway and stuff that we're living in now, the information's all out there. Like,
Hmm.
when I was growing up, you only had probably access to the Bible. I didn't even
Right.
know about the Quran and
You didn't
the,
know about.
the
You only knew what you knew.
I only knew what I do. Hell, I didn't even know there was an Old Testament.
Yeah.
I just knew there was the New Testament, the
Yeah.
King James version,
Right.
and then, like, the internet now. People get, like,
So many people have so many opportunities to find those types of resources
yeah,
for them,
yeah,
and that's why I kind of created my journey, because I find so many resources online. I just pour them into like other people. I like text my friends all the time different podcasts. I'm like, oh my gosh, girl, like watch this. This is
yeah,
like so
yeah.
good. Like,
Well, I want to be in that. I want to be in that little
oh,
group.
definitely,
Text them to
definitely.
me.
I will. Like, I love sending different podcasts to people just
Yeah,
because, like,
yeah.
it it resonates, and it helps you change what you want to change.
I
Like,
always want to hear somebody's different perspective on life and what their journey
I love
is,
it.
and what they've learned, and
Mhm.
their advice on, because people learn things and they found these jewels that you're like, oh yeah, that works for me too. So,
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I just made the whole journey, because I did
there's
start
a
off.
big fat eclipse coming up.
Oh yeah, it's on the 19th
Yeah, a big,
in Taurus.
yeah. It's gonna be the longest eclipse ever, I think.
Mhm. Mhm. It's gonna last for like 6 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's gonna be some really dark energies, and that's why I try to tell people, like, it's okay to have dark energy. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's just all about getting out of it, like, and just figuring, sifting and sorting. That's all we have to do: sift, sort, figure it out.
Yeah.
And
Because I live by the yin and the yang,
mhm,
the white and the dark.
mhm,
It's like the good and the bad, the feminine and the male. So
mhm,
it's like, I'm a Libra, so it's the balance.
same. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really hard to balance. It's really hard to balance. I try to take in the black and white and then add some little sparkle of colors and
Oh,
artistic
yeah, yeah.
things.
Well, everything. Yeah,
And I just think it's just honestly your perception. And everything comes from the mind and how you perceive things. Whatever you perceive, you're going to project.
hmm,
And that's how you really look at your journey. If whatever is going on right now is your perception, it's the things that you end up, perceiving, that's going to be your projection. So whatever you're projecting right now, if you don't like it, you can always change it.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing of free will, and just having that, having that mindset of like what you think life is or what you see yourself as, you're projecting it right now, like,
Yeah.
and that's what.
You ask the universe for what you want.
Mhm,
You just
exactly.
ask,
And
and
law of
they'll give it to you.
attraction, it does not believe in about bad or good.
Yeah.
It believes on what you're
Yeah.
thinking and what
Yeah.
you're
Don't think
manifesting.
no bad shit because it'll
Right.
happen to
That's
you.
yes, that's what with the dark energies, you have to go in and do a lot of self-care, a lot of self-love, and
Yeah.
I had, an anxiety attack yesterday, and I realized how much toxic things that I had or that I allowed myself to, have around me, and I realized, like, this stops today. Like, I have to stop that.
Yeah.
No one else is going to stop that. No one else knows what I'm thinking or what's going on with me.
Yeah.
So I have to take full responsibility of my part of allowing it in. And then I have to release it, let it go, and start something that's, good for me.
Yeah.
And I realized that, like, it's because there's a lot of dark energy right now. So not only with the dark energy is not here to, say that you're bad and all this stuff. The dark energy is to hone in on what you truly need to let go of and what opportunities you can make for yourself,
Yeah.
you know? And I had to realize that anxiety attack was awful, yes, but it taught me so much. I needed to work on myself. I need to heal my relationships, and I just need to do me,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's just like what a lot of people,
And
um,
then people think, "Oh, she's so selfish because she's just doing her. She's just doing her." Well, that's not selfish. It's
selfish
like,
is something
how can
we
I help you if I'm not helping myself? If I get
exactly.
lost in myself, then I'm not going to be able to think right or
Mhm.
help you, or I'm just going to be in this confused, depressed, anxious place.
Mhm.
And anxiety attacks are real.
Yeah,
I mean, I
they
was
are.
having like a small one before we started this. It
I
wasn't,
completely
I don't even
understand.
understand why, but I
It
did.
just happens.
Yeah. It
And
just sounded
you
like,
kind of just have to take it in. You have to kind of embrace the feeling to understand where it's coming from. And then just kind of have, just call in on your angels, do whatever you need to do that helps you.
yeah,
And just, let it embrace and then let it go through and then release it. A
yeah.
lot of people try to cover it with toxic positivity
Or toxic people.
or toxic people, just being around that.
Yeah.
And it really makes it 10 times worse because like you're not allowing yourself to feel how you feel and then letting it go. You're trying to cover it up with something. You're trying to suppress it. And that's what makes it bigger for whenever you have the next anxiety attack,
Yeah. Yeah.
So really going through and embracing how you feel and feel whatever you need to feel,
And
cry it
don't
out.
fake it.
Yeah,
Don't fake
don't
it.
fake it. Like, I'm starting to do boxing again
Yeah.
because it's oh my gosh, it's such a good like just release
Uh huh.
and like just just feel that out and then release it. Let that, go. Whatever you have to do, cry, screaming your pillow. It's not bad. It's just something that we
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
need,
Yeah. You gotta release.
Mhm.
Do something like, do something physical. Go for a
Yeah.
walk. I do Tai Chi and,
Oh yeah.
go for walks and, just
Just do what
do
you need to
laundry.
do. Yeah,
Sometimes I
like
just do
clean.
laundry.
Yeah, do the dishes. Like
Yeah.
just kind of visualize like,
Yeah.
the
Laundry
dirt
is
and
kind of a
everything.
meditative thing. If you're going down there and you're folding laundry and you're
Mhm.
like just in your own space, because like the laundry room, nobody really wants to come in there.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I hang out at the laundry room a lot.
Right. No one wants to go
Yeah,
there.
nobody
Yeah.
wants to go in the laundry room because there's so much work in there. But like
Yes.
sometimes your work is it's a meditative thing, like,
Mhm.
especially just a physical work. Like,
Mhm.
I work at UPS and everybody knows that. And I'll go in there and um I just zone out everybody else, do my job,
Yeah.
be safe and just just be physical.
Yeah.
Just be physical. Like
Mhm.
and just
And just do whatever kind of makes you feel good. If you
yeah,
think that painting is a really good way to, release that, then do that. Like if you think laundry is really good to do that, release that within your laundry. Like,
yeah,
cleanse your house, cleanse, your body, put intention to it because that intention will actually help you. And, our brains or our minds they can't tell the difference between like real and fake. That's why,
Yeah.
sometimes you see like little videos on Facebook or Instagram and like a ball's thrown at you, or like, a snake like is popping out and you flinch
Yeah.
because your mind thinks it's real, but you know it's not.
Yeah.
So when you really like visualize like, that, pain going away, or just like that steam like just coming out of you, or let's say you are taking a shower and you have that intention to really pure and just cleanse yourself, and you just imagine like, all the drainage going out, that's going to help your mind because your mind's thinking that's real. So it's going to help you, get all
Yeah.
everything out, and stuff like that. So really like visualization is really good, setting
Yeah.
your intentions on what
I
you're
do
going
that
to
a lot
do.
because like I do Tai Chi and I
Mhm.
do a lot of it inside my own brain.
Yep.
I don't do as much physically
Right.
as I do it in my head. So
Exactly.
so like the moves and stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, so visualizing things is very important.
Definitely. It's really helped my journey. And also, have you heard of binaural beats?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so cool. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
Have about like, 8 hours of it, sometimes 2, sometimes it really depends. But you can look up different binaural beats, and basically these are waves, frequency waves
Okay.
that once you listen to it like, 10 minutes or so, some are faster than others, but I think it's the base is 10 minutes. After you listen to it, your frequency in your mind is going to match that frequency.
Okay.
So let's say you're doing a theta wave, and theta waves are something that you can connect with your higher self. Sometimes you'll get flashes, or something that it comes, and that frequency is all about healing.
Okay.
So you'll listen to it about 20-30 minutes, and it can help you heal. I was sick yesterday, so I used to listen to a binaural beat while I was taking a nap. I had like earphones like
Yeah.
these on, and it's best to do it with earphones.
Yeah.
um and I took like a 2-hour nap, and I had so much drainage. So I ended up listening to a theta wave because, your body matches your mind.
Yeah.
And, my mind was going crazy yesterday. It was going bonkers.
Yeah.
So, I listened to that, and to the healing sound for about 2 hours. I took them off. Like, once I did, all the drainage was, like, gone. The only thing that was really
Oh
hurting
wow.
was, like, my back because from
Yeah.
everything going on.
Yeah.
But, yeah, all the drainage was gone. I felt better, like, and it really, really helps because those frequencies are really coming in to, send, messages for your body.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean, that makes sense if your body understands that your mind is going wild and crazy. It's
mhm,
like,
your
oh
body's
shit,
gonna tend.
something. Yeah, your
Yeah,
body's
your
gonna go wild because like something's going on here. Like the
exactly.
brain is like having a fit, dude. Like
Yeah.
we might gotta go into chaos mode here.
Yeah,
So
you don't just get sick because of the weather and everything like that. Like, yeah, that
yeah,
plays a part into it, but also it's everything's so connected that when you get sick, it's something that's going on with inside of you
and it makes
too.
sense if your brain isn't working right and you're not on the right path and
Mhm.
like not thinking straight,
Mhm.
then your body's not gonna your brain's not gonna send your body the signals it needs
Yeah,
to
because
like
it's too focused on something else.
yeah,
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 your mind, your body, and soul are all kind of connected. So when you feel a pain, in your back or in your shoulders, like that has to do with responsibility.
yeah,
If you feel something like in your chest, that has to do with your emotions, your heart, what you need to release. Like your body speaks to you. So if you have like those different types of wounds, you're gonna like see what you need to do next for that, place of that feels hurt.
yeah,
So like, and that's why it's so good to know your chakras, because if one thing, let's say if your third eye chakra is really like, pounding that day, you have to kind of ask yourself what's going on, what's wrong. Sometimes it's something, and sometimes you're having an awakening. You don't even know.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you have to really, really know your body. But binaural beats are really, really good for healing. They even have one for sleeping if you wanna listen to it while you sleep.
yeah,
They have isotonic tones, which is like you can listen without earphones. So there's a lot out there on YouTube, many resources.
yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Hey, we're getting close to an hour.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Anything you wanna ask before we wrap it up?
Just is there anything that you want to add? I mean, we can do this again at some
Yeah,
point.
definitely again. I'd love to
Yeah,
do it again. If you guys don't know me again, my name is Tionna Sanders. I'm a model. I dabble in the arts. I just more freeing mind. My Instagram is energybird222, and I also did a modeling collab with the beautiful Melissa and Emily, and they are also on my Instagram as well. If you guys wanted to contact them for photography or makeup. And my Facebook is just Tionna Sanders, and I really appreciate you, Andy, for letting
Well, I
me do
appreciate you
this.
coming on because I mean we've been talking about doing this for a
Oh
while.
yeah, for so long. And
Yeah,
this actually really inspired me to like
yeah.
do my podcast in January, and I'm doing another project too. I'm going to try to start doing some free family sessions and just really talk about the
Okay,
mind
okay.
and how the process works and how
Sounds
it
good.
can really recreate your mind.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I need help with my mind sometimes. So I
yes.
appreciate you coming on. And yeah, I like I'm saying, I'm a big fan. I can't wait to your podcast. Like, I want to, help you be involved in that.
Oh,
So
I
yeah.
appreciate that.
So
Yeah, talk about it
I got the
anytime.
equipment. So, I'm not
Yeah.
always using it.
Right, yeah, I could always come down and
Yeah.
I mean, you have, like, the legit set, like, when I did my first podcast, I'm telling you, like, I had, like, my little Apple laptop,
Yeah.
and then I had, like, my little microphone, like, that's all I had, so this is, like, the real deal here, it's
Yeah.
really
Well, we
awesome.
try, we have fun with it. So,
Yeah, of
and
course.
you guys know me. I'm Nice Guy Andy. We usually do the wrestling shows and the podcast with the pay per views, and this is my little side thing of the interviews with people. And we had a very entertaining guest tonight. And if anybody wants to play the Royal, uh, the sponsor is Royal Dark. We're on the Facebook. Just give them a call. Just send them a message, and
Yeah, make that money.
they'll sign you up, and you can play their games. They give away prizes every day. You win. You can win money,
Mhm.
and it's all through Cash App and stuff. So give them a shout out, and they stay open till they open at 10 Eastern time. They close at 4 a.m. Eastern time. So that wherever you're at, if you're Central Mountain, you can do the math yourself. So make sure you know where you at, because like a lot of people don't know where their time zone is. I
Mhm.
met a guy the other day, and he was like, "I'm in Mississippi, and you said you closed at 4," and I'm like, "Dude, you're in Central time zone."
Right.
He's like, "Oh, Elma, yeah." So we close at 3 then. So, but yeah, give our sponsor a shout out and check out her podcast. And I think we're gonna get off here. Thank you for
Alright.
coming in.
Yeah, you're so
Yeah,
welcome.
we'll do this again. Is there anything you want to say again? Anything else?
No, everything that was said, so I appreciate it.
All righty. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye everybody. Everybody try to be nice to each other.
Had to drop a gem.